Throwaway time. What's your secret that could literally ruin your life if it came out? My father never had anything other than boys. And my mother always wanted a girl. Try as they might. They just had tons of boys. When I was 6 they adopted a girl of also 6. Everyone was pleased. And she was quickly included into the family by everyone and we all took an immediate shine to her. Especially me. We started playing doctor at 9. This progressed to fooling around by our early teens. And into actual sex shortly thereafter. We're both over 30 now. We have sex whenever we see each other. We also like to pretend we are twins when we do have sex. We've both had our shares of girlfriends and boyfriends. But we always kept it up even while in those relationships. She's actually married now. We still have sex about 2 times a month. More when the family gets together for holidays. I can't even imagine the bricks that would be shat if anyone ever found out. It's been close a few times. Especially when we were younger. But nobody's ever caught on. I'm now finished my first year of university. In the fall. My funds quickly dried up even though my parents earn a combined salary of about $200,000 a year. My brother's become the talk of our tiny town because he has earned a full ride to play lacrosse in the USA. I'm Canadian. My parents spend every penny on making sure he's properly tutored. In the right equipment. And though I am sincerely overjoyed for him. This year changed my life. So by November. All my credit was gone. I worked every single day on top of school but I still could barely afford phone bills. I stole food from roommates and grocery stores when I got the chance. When things got real bad. I put an ad on Craigslist. I sold the biggest part of myself for the paper nasty men had in their back pockets. It was the worst I have ever felt as I was sexually abused when I was younger and even sex with my boyfriend is difficult to handle emotionally. I advertised essentially to older men. Married men and everyone in between. My biggest fear is that anyone in my family or my boyfriend of 2 years will find out about this disgusting chapter in my life. It dropped me into severe depression which I still take medication for. I cry when I think about going back this September. I have been planning my suicide for roughly 6 weeks now. I just can't hack it anymore. My family disintegrated. My marriage is a bust and I was disabled by an IED while deployed. I wasted the last 5 years of my life drinking and being angry at everything. Not to make excuses or anything. But my physical being isn't all that is disabled due to deployment. I can't love anything at all anymore. To make this more relevant. The IED was my fault. I fell asleep while being the front gunner for our convoy. No one knows. I was awarded a cab and a Purple Heart. 2 of my friends died that day. Have you considered seeing a counselor and asking about PTSD? Or different types of depression? You went over there and did something that most Americans aren't willing to do. I don't care if you feel like you f'd up. As a civilian I truly believe you're still a good person. I sincerely hope you go see someone ASAP. If you can take 6 weeks to plan something so terrible. You can definitely take 6 more weeks to do something that can potentially be amazing. See a different therapist every week until you find one with promise. Please. If you feel like talking. I'm a good listener. I lose sleep every night because I feel like I was a shitty brother. My younger sibling is 5 years younger than me and I always felt like I was a crappy role model and terrible example to him. I treated him like shit and I really hindered his childhood. Now he's one of my best friends but we both know it happened and I can never forgive myself. Yeah, I see people confession worse shit like near suicide and cum boxes. That was really f'd up. F-king Reddit, but it doesn't mean it doesn't affect me. I love my brother and I would take a bullet for him. But not a day goes by where I wish I could go back in time and change how I treated him. I don't believe in regrets. But this will always be looming over my shoulders. Thanks for reading. Reddit. I had a fraternity brother who was a real dick to me in college and hazed the shit out of me. Back then. You could log into the registration system to sign up for classes. He was a senior. So he got first pick of the classes he wanted. This was right when the internet was becoming popular. And back then, a person's login was their name. And their PIN was their birthday. I logged into his account. And dropped all of his classes 3 days after they started. He did not find out until midterms when the professors submitted his grades. They refunded his money. But he had to spend an extra semester in college. Second story, I do not have a lot of confidence. And can never ask girls out. I met my current wife by installing a keystroke logger on her computer. And intercepting Facebook messages and chats with her friends until I confirmed she liked me. That way I knew exactly how to approach her. I orchestrated our entire early courtship to my advantage. If she knew she would likely divorce me because I delved deep into her personal life and found out some crazy things about her past. My great uncle Jack used to live with my family. One day, he got drunk and had a bad fall that ended up causing him to bleed out. I ended up finding him. I was 14 at the time. And had never seen such an awful sight, and lost consciousness due to all the blood. When I eventually recovered, I called the ambulance and stayed with my uncle. He died in the back of the ambulance, holding my hand. No one knows about what happened to me. And if they did, they would realize that I'm the reason he's dead. Never attempted to kill myself. And I doubt I ever will. But I just want to die. I'm an incredibly happy guy, odd enough. I truthfully am happy. But whenever I think about getting shot, or getting cancer, I get a little excited. I wish I was one of those deaths on the news. Shoot, I'd love to take someone's place. They want to be here more than me. I'll never actually kill myself, even if it's just for the sake of others who need me. But I can't stop wishing that someone else would kill me. I'm done being here. I'm done dealing with the crap. I'm just burnt out and I don't want to be here anymore. I have been having sex with my cousin since I was 18. On and off for about 3 years. The worst part about it is that she is severely bipolar, hypersexual, and on disability, probably for life. It's consensual and she wants to do it more often. But I know I'm making things worse as opposed to helping her live a normal life. I think I first rationalized it as being a way to comfort and offer her companionship. Everyone in my family tells me how great it is that I'm one of the few people who can get through to her and get her to listen. When I was about 12, I went with some family to the Family Dollar. My mother and cousins went off to go look at generic groceries, so I decided I would just spend my time hanging out in the toy aisle. In the toy aisle there would always be these bags of marbles that other kids would open and leave laying there, so I decided to fling marbles across the floor and one just happened to reach one of the far off aisles. So about 2 minutes later I hear a loud crash and someone scream, "Somebody help this man." Being the curious child I was, I ran over to see what the commotion was about, and I find everyone gathered around this guy who had seemed to have fallen from the ladder as he was getting something off the top shelf. The guy is seizing out and blood is coming from his head as he laid there and his face seemed to be turning blue. My mother whisked me and my cousins away and we left. Next time we went, we talked to the front cashier and she said that they called the paramedics, but by the time they got there he had died from choking. Apparently when he had the seizure he was choking on his own tongue. The cause for the fall according to the front cashier was that he had put the ladder on a marble and didn't check it before he got on it. When I heard what the cashier said, I just stood in disbelief thinking I was going to jail. I tried telling my mother many times but all she did was say that I imagined it. TL. Doctor killed a man with a marble in a Family Dollar. I faked the last 2 years of college education. My parents put so much pressure on me I couldn't handle it. I was suffering from severe depression and anxiety, so I faked it all. Lied to everyone. Made up fake transcripts. I just got my foot in the door in my desired field thanks to a friend as they hired me as a subordinate. This place only hires college grads but no one double checked my credentials since I was recommended. My hopes is that if I need to find another job I'll have been at this place long enough to get it by experience alone. I work for a very prestigious company. I'm not bad at my job. I'm actually quite good. But my fear is eventually I'll hit a wall and the lie will come to light. No one has known this for the better part of a decade. It's a relief to finally say it out loud. I can't even tell those I love. My silence is my prison. Had serious depression my whole life. 3 minor suicide attempts, countless other thoughts of just stepping on the gas pedal and slamming into a wall. Lost my job a couple years back and hit an all-time low. Took a shitty job at a grocery store. Found out my wife was pregnant and thought the best thing for her and the baby would be for me to not be around anymore. On my last day I plan to live, my wife tells me our baby is the size of a sweet pea. I smile and act happy knowing I will never see that sweet pea. Go to work in the morning and near the end of my shift I'm standing in the frozen department and am near tears. Close my eyes and ask myself what's the point, time to end this. Then I hear someone yell my wife's name loud. Twice. I look over and see a lady who happens to have my wife's name. Okay. Just a coincidence. Then I look down and see him holding a box of sweet peas. I start crying and go home. Tell me everything. Got the help I need. The sweet pea is 2 now and has a sister on the way. I live my life for them. They saved me. Just remember that no matter how bad it gets, there are people out there who love you and want to help. Don't be afraid to ask. Be strong, Reddit, and stay alive for the ones that love you. I used to do heroin. A lot. I got clean. I'm not in a shitty relationship where my boyfriend manipulates me into doing whatever f-ked up bullshit he wants, and I know this is happening, but I don't care because I figure I'm lucky to have a place to live and someone to pay the bills. He makes me do weird sexual shit that I hate, like suck mass amounts of cock for random guys he met on the internet. This is because I told him about all of the f-ked up shit I used to do to get drugs. Because obviously I liked it, or else why would I do it? He has also convinced to be a prostitute on 2 separate occasions. I can't stand being touched by anyone anymore. I hate sex. I want to die. I just bought some heroin. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to start using again or just go ahead and OD. I have no goals in life. There is literally nothing I want out of life other than heroin. I'm just f-ked. Luckily, no one will ever see this because this thread has exploded. After my mother left my father, he developed a really inappropriate attachment to me. I was 19 and my brother moved in with his girlfriend. Dad was suicidal and had no family or friends close by. So I was it. For the first year, he would wake me up at 2 AM to sit with him every night until he cried himself to sleep. After 4 years of cleaning up after him, making sure he ate, and generally remained alive, I discovered that he had been using the attic access in his closet to sit above my personal bathroom and watch me through a peephole. I wanted to dismiss it as paranoia, but there were too many physical signs that made it reality. Moved out shortly after that because I couldn't bear to look at him. I'm 29 now, and no one in my family has any idea that this ever happened. I know that he was going through a rough patch, but I feel violated and dirty every time I think about it still. I also have huge amounts of guilt because I hate him for putting me through it. This world and ruined my life, but back in middle school me and a friend in our building were standing outside, our street was being repaved. We noticed the workers all left for lunch, so my friend said, hey, let's go sit in the steamroller. Being young and dumb, we did. So we go and realize the keys are still on. My friend was like, hey, let's drive it. Well, having never driven a steamroller, we didn't know that it's the back that turns, so he started it up. We started going down the street. He's driving, I'm just riding along. Next thing I know, we are losing control and we crash into some old guy's living room. This old man was sitting there watching TV. All we could do is just run. We booked it and left. Told my parents I was over at a friend's house and we didn't come back to our neighborhood till later on. Come to find out, the cops have been going house to house looking for us. My parents were like, what stupid kid could have done this? The old man whose house we crashed into only got a basic description of my friend but not me. There were wanted posters with a $20,000 reward for my friend, but the picture looked nothing like him. After about 3 months the posters went away and we were never caught. We never told anyone.